This episode is sponsored by MaintainX. Today we're going to find out how these are made. They're quiet pickleballs, a godsend to those of you who play pickleball, right? They're made using plastic 3D printing here at Accel Digital Solutions, just north of downtown in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Accel is a custom solutions provider. They make a variety of plastic parts. The pickleballs, parts for automotive, for buildings, for boats. They make them in a variety of plastics and a variety of finishes. They even make parts for your coffee cup and your smartphone. They make all those parts here in their shop. It sports several different 3D printing lines to reduce changeover times.
So we have two pickleballs. We have a traditional pickleball. This happens to be one of the top few specific brands, companies that produces this. And this is another pickleball. It is the digitpro by Accel Digital Sports, which is a division of Accel Digital Solutions. And the problem with the traditional pickleball in the industry today, in the fastest growing sport in the world, is the issue of noise. These two are pickleballs, but one has a significantly less reduced noise barrier. So these have a high frequency pitch, where these have a low frequency pitch. One lasts significantly longer than the other. So you say, why pickleball? Why the digitpro? Well, the issue with traditional pickleballs is the consistency of quality to stay in round or in spherical round. The problem of getting out of hitting consistently in soft pockets or in cold temperatures, where this may crack at the seam line of traditional manufacturing. With the ability to print the digitpro on HP Multi-Jet Fusion, we're able to do it isotropically in one piece. So there's no split lines, there's no seam lines, so there's not the easy ability to crack in warm or cold temperatures. You also have the ability to create a ball that has 10 times or greater reduction in noise pollution within the sport, which is a significant gain in opportunity for improvement in the sport of pickleball.
As you can see in this test, when it comes to performance, the balls are fairly comparable.
So 3D printing, specifically here, Multi-Jet Fusion. Within 3D printing, there are a lot of different capabilities and technologies. Specifically, like I said, we have HP Multi-Jet Fusion. With HP Multi-Jet Fusion, you have roughly 10 or so, give or take, a few different materials that do different things, different capabilities, different durometers, different scale of tolerancing. So here today specifically, we have PA12 Smooth, powered by Arkema. The Smooth really allows us to create parts that are aesthetically smoother to the touch, smoother aesthetically, and the ability really to finish those Class A, depending on the customer's need and application of that end-use product. Here again, you'll see some product that is just coming out of the build stage, but you can just really see and feel how smooth that finish is to the touch off of a raw build itself. So here at Accel, we have 5 different materials. As I said, PA12 Smooth is one, powered by Arkema, and then we have 4 others, 3 of which are nylon. So the PA12 Smooth is the nylon. We have a PA12 high reusability, which is the standard traditional PA12, and then the most recent that we have is going to be, excuse the mess, we're actually upgrading pieces of equipment to get set up for a flame retardant, fire retardant nylon, which is the first of its kind for HP Multi-Jet Fusion technology. We're happy to be one of the only in the Americas to go through the beta process. The others that we have on hand are Forward AM by BASF, that is a thermoplastic elastomer. We also have a competitor I'd say, of them, another thermoplastic elastomer by Vinoski, which is a TPA. So on the basis of how it's made, this pickleball starts out in a design and engineering phase where we understand how it's going to play. Within understanding how it's going to play, we have to design certain features that allow it to be within a specific range of spherical diameter, a specific range of weight, and then a specific range of bounce, whether that be from a raw drop or playing in the field of pickleball. So once you're able to have a design and an engineer that you feel is a sound solution, no pun intended, we then take a material, thermoplastic elastomer, which over here we have two types of gaylords. We have recycled materials and a virgin material. It is the same material, but within a build you have an 80% recycled, 20% virgin, which allows you to bring your cost, your TCO, down significantly from obviously 100% virgin. From there, we fill a process station with a raw powder, which in its true form is exactly what you think. It looks like powdered sugar. And this turns into none other than a pickleball.
This episode is sponsored by MaintainX, where they recognize that 80% of the workforce, primarily technicians, aren't sitting at a desk, but they're out there managing equipment and facilities. They set out to help turn those workers into the knowledge professionals they are. Their maintenance and asset management platform empowers those professionals by keeping equipment running through preventive maintenance, facilitating quick repair insights, and streamlining safety and compliance. They have the best technician experience on earth. MaintainX is so user-friendly that managers report saving 5.8 hours weekly due to streamlined processes. Their customers have seen an impressive 32% average savings in monthly maintenance costs by using it. They report an average of 33% reduction in unplanned downtime, directly adding to their capacity. They have 9,000 customers plus now, 32% decrease in unplanned downtime for them, 34% decrease in parts inventory spend, 38% improvement in mean time to repair, and 49% increase in on-time completion of inspections. Give it a try. Go to the MaintainX link in the show description. Now let's dive deeper into how the ball is made. It starts with computer-aided design, or CAD. The CAD file is a three-dimensional representation of the part within the computer. Once that design is complete, specialized software slices the model into thousands of layers. That's what the 3D printer uses to create the part itself, printing it layer by layer until the full part is complete. It's that three-dimensional sliced design that is loaded into the printer for printing.
So once you've filled your build cart with this raw powder, you'll take that build cart and you will put it into the printer. And so what here it shows you, obviously it shows you your print runtime, it shows you your specific material, and then once you're able to take it out of its build mode after, for this case, a layer, an hour and a half, you'll plug it into the process station to cool, and it'll tell you how long it really needs to cool at a minimum so that you're gaining as much of that quality of performance and part as needed. And you have some encoders, and you have a track laying system that lays the powder each time that this passes to build a part.
Accel Digital Solutions uses the HP multi-jet fusion printing process. That's where the printer lays down a layer of material powder on the printing bed, and then an inkjet head runs across the powder and deposits both a fusing and a detailing agent onto it according to the digital model of the part required. An infrared heating unit also moves across the print. Wherever that fusing agent was added, the underlying layer melts together while the exposed areas with the detailing agent doesn't fuse completely, but acts as a layer to ensure surface quality. Areas with no agent applied remain a powder.
After a 12 to 16 hour run cycle, you have about that or a little bit more equivalent in curing time. So what will happen then is you'll put the build back into the process station and you'll allow it to cool down for this specific material and this specific process. Cool time then happens, which allows the product, in this case the digitpro, to fully cure and bake so that you don't have any deformities in quality of issue aesthetically or within the bounds. So if it's not printed in the right amount of time and cooled in the right amount of time, you could have an issue with quality, durability, and repeatability of that product. Once you go through the cure time and the cooling time, you are then able to unpack the build, and I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like here. The difference between these two: you have powder in this one, so even though it's done to the print mode, we now have to send it to depowder, which takes out the powder out of the middle of the ball and how you get to a recycled 80%. What material you don't use that is in the actual product, you're able to then recycle back into the Gaylord and allow it to use for the next build. So here you have a hose that has compressed air, which you will then suction out of the bed. So again, that excess powder that you don't use will go back into recycled for the next available build process. And so we don't do this manually, but I'm just doing this for sake of showing you the process of how powder needs to get extracted out of the center of the ball. Again, you recycle that reclaimed material, and then by way of that you have raw pickleball.